Love. And they're off. Dedois is going out for the early lead, joined and headed by Beer Money, and on the outside comes Midnight Love. But it will be Dedois a little bit quicker. At the rail, Nesso's Last Hurrah moves right into contention, third, just a half off the lead. Sharp Lorenzo, 4 off the pace, 2 clear of Running Tiger and Factor Fiction. Half mile to go. Nesso's Last Hurrah gets a narrow advantage. Beer Money in between, keeping pace. Dedois neck back, 3 wide, third into the far turn. They're followed by Sharp Lorenzo, who's in fourth, with just 2 to make up. Midnight Love is next, a distance to Running Tiger, and Fact or Fiction. Dedois, prominent throughout. Nesso's Last Hurrah at the rail. These two going on. Beer Money losing ground. Sharp Lorenzo switches to the outside. It's Nesso's Last Hurrah at the top of the stretch, opening up two. Sharp Lorenzo finishing with interest on the outside, taking second and taking up the chase on Nesso's Last Hurrah. Here's Sharp Lorenzo within a length and a half at the 16th pole, getting closer. Nesso's Last Hurrah or Sharp Lorenzo? Sharp Lorenzo comes right back and wins 3/4 of a length. Second to Nesso's Last Hurrah, long way back to Dedois. Midnight Love in that battle with Beer Money. $1,590.20. In the gate. And they're off. Divine Feminine, very quick. Nauvoo and Paco's Pico. Those three battling it out with Nauvoo. Hard ridden for early speed. Settecento is next, and stretch running Big Buzz will do his best running later on. Around the clubhouse turn with Nauvoo taking over. Opening up a length and a half. Paco's Pico will sit in second. 2 more Settecento as they race in single file. Divine Feminine is 5 off the lead and another 3 to an unhurried Big Buzz. Onto the backstretch, and it's Nauvoo leading the way by 2. Paco's Pico guided to the outside in second, and 2 more to Settecento third. Then comes Divine Feminine, and Big Buzz starts to pick it up outside of him. 7 lengths covers the field. They're coming to the half-mile pole behind Nauvoo, who shakes loose. 3.5 length cushion on Paco's Pico in second. Then Settecento, followed by Divine Feminine, and Big Buzz 3 wide, 8 off the lead. 3/8 of a mile to run. They have to catch Nauvoo, who leads it by 4. Paco's Pico second by 3. Divine Feminine, Big Buzz on the outside, and Settecento at the rail. 1/4 of a mile to go. Frey peaks back on Nauvoo, still has a 4-length lead. Paco's Pico second the whole way. Big Buzz is still last. Coming to the 8th pole, Nauvoo by 4 lengths. Paco's Pico is still holding second with Divine Feminine, Big Buzz, and Settecento, a complete runaway for Nauvoo. Nauvoo will win by close to 10 as Big Buzz rallies into second late. Third goes to Divine Feminine, and then Paco's Pico. Sales team. Tapitou goes in. And they're off. And Tapitou is sprinting out for the early lead. Zayarat and Quarry of Thunder broke well and moves up along the inside to take second. Into the first turn behind Tapitou, who leaves the rail open at this stage for Quarry of Thunder. And now that door closes as Zayarat moves up to take second. They're coming to the 6 furlong pole, and it's Tapitou and Giovanni Franco to set the tempo. Zayarat's in second, and the heavy favorite Quarry of Thunder is 2.5 or 3 lengths behind. Onto the backstretch, Tapitou short lead. Zayarat just ahead away second. Now 3.5, back to Quarry of Thunder. 4.5 furlongs to run. Tapit to catch with Zayarat now 3/4 back, getting a little nudge in second. Quarry of Thunder has been at the back since the gate opened. Into the far turn, Tapit a half length. Zayarat comes back for another challenge, and Zayarat is up to take the lead around the far turn. Quarry of Thunder is falling further and further behind. Absolutely nothing yet from the heavy favorite as they come to the quarter pole. And Zayarat leads a length and a half. Now it's 2 on Tapit, and Quarry of Thunder is virtually eased. Zayarat with a 5-length lead turning for home. And just a gallop through the stretch. Dettori takes a peek back, and the margin continues to increase. It'll be a double digit, close to 15 when the smoke clears for Zayarat, winning by a pole. Zayarat all by herself gallops. Tapit just got to the finish line, as did Quarry of Thunder. Tozo to the outside. We're in the gate. They're off. Very even start. Smiling Jojo is now coming to battle with Tiger by the tail. Down at the rail, it's Let the Liquor Talk, a close-up third and moving in closer. Mischievous Dylan is racing in the fourth spot, now taking third. And on the far outside, Sunset Storm. Gostoso has 5 to make up, 6 in front of Taka Makahara. Into the far turn, Let the Liquor Talk at the rail, and Smiling Jojo are 1-2. 3 back, Mischievous Dylan is in third, followed by Tiger by the tail, Sunset Storm fifth, 6 off the lead, then Gostoso and Takamakahara. 5/16 out. Let the Liquor Talk, 3/4 of a length. Smiling Jojo trying to keep pace, but now length and a half behind. Gostoso is making progress. White blinkers in third as they reach the top of the lane. And Let the Liquor Talk has a 6-length lead suddenly, leaving Smiling Jojo behind. Gostoso, and here's Takamakahara, who was absolutely nowhere and is closing stoutly along the rail trying to get third. Let the Liquor Talk wins by 5. Gostoso was second. Takamakahara up for third in front of Smiling Jojo and Mischievous Dylan. Lansdowne going in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Bobble out of the gate for Habeas. Crowning Gold sprints out for the lead, immediately tackled by Top Gun Tommy, who comes through within a half length of the pacemaker. Habeas is keen, and he's going right between those two. Habeas quickens the tempo, lands down on the outside. Those 4 separated by less than a length as Crowning Gold shuffles a bit. A length and a half to establish 2 trails. It is Habeas past a half-mile pole. A length and a half lands down second. Top Gun Tommy on the rail third. Crowning Gold is in fourth and established at the back. 3/8 to run. Habeas to catch. Tries to shake loose. 2.5 lengths now on Lansdowne second. Top Gun Tommy, the big favorite at the rail in third, getting a little nudge within 2 lengths of the leader. They're followed by Crowning Gold, nothing from established. Top Gun Tommy angles off the rail for the drive as Habeas maintains a half-length lead between horses. Top Gun Tommy in tight but running very gamely and Lansdowne on the outside. These two go on, Top Gun Tommy and Lansdowne. Top Gun Tommy, Lansdowne a neck back. It's going to be close. Top Gun Tommy or Lansdowne. Here is the line. Top Gun Tommy. Reese Pulley had to work to get the chalk backers home. Lansdowne just missed to complete the Steve Knapp exacta. They're in the gate. And they're off. Hey Dem stumbled out of the gate. Santa C is going to the front in her prime. And here's Bougie Like in the lime green on the outside. Isabel Ludlow is in fourth. Hey Demps extreme outside, trying to rush right into contention. And Warren's Paradise at the back. 5 lengths covers them at the 6 furlong pole. And it's Santa C by a length. Bougie Like in between fillies and Hey Demps outside of that pair. They're followed at the rail by In Her Prime. Fourth, 3 to make up. Isabel Ludlow and Warren's Paradise. Down the backstretch with 4.5 furlongs to travel. And it's Santa C and Juan Hernandez cruising along on the front end. Hey Demps pushed along, trying to keep pace second. In Her Prime along the rail. Still very much in the thick of it. Third, Warren's Paradise takes fourth. Isabel Ludlow is fifth with 4 to make up. And Bougie Like is being eased at the back of the field. Around the turn, Santa C, Hey Demps on even terms. Suddenly In Her Prime is backing right out of it as Isabel Ludlow moves into contention third. A quarter of a mile to go. Santa C, Hey Demps fully extended. A half length back in second. It's Santa C in front. Isabel Ludlow has 5 to make up at the 8th pole. Santa C by 2. A very game Hey Demps just not throwing in the towel. And Isabel Ludlow is a distant third, finishing well as well. It's Santa C, though, who is simply too strong. Santa C wins it by 4 lengths. Hey Demps was second. Isabel Ludlow third. Sweet Azteca. And they're off. Power Surge and Vidalera are the first 2 out, with Sweet Azteca right up close too. Then it's Llorona being guided off the rail immediately, and 2 more back to Noki. Down the backstretch, Power Surge short lead, pressed by Sweet Azteca, the heavy favorite within a neck. Then comes Llorona taking third. Vidalera back to fourth, and Noki. Half mile left to run, and it's Power Surge and Sweet Azteca, stride for stride. Llorona in the 3-path third. Then Vidalera losing a bit of ground, now 4 off the lead with 3 furlongs to run. Noki is at the back. Sweet Azteca takes over, round the far turn. Power Surge now 3/4 back second. Llorona pushed along in third. Noki on the outside as Sweet Azteca sails away at the top of the stretch, outclassing this field and opening up with authority. It's Sweet Azteca just like that by 10. As Noki moves into second. What a dazzling display from Sweet Azteca, cruising through the stretch to a most impressive score. Then it was Noki, about a dozen behind, in a tight photograph between Power Surge and Vidalera. The next one and the last. All in. And they're off. Ultimate Authority flies out, quickly moves to try and clear the field. Gloglo has some early foot as they line up right behind the pacemaker and favorite into the first turn. So it's Ultimate Authority. Pratt gets her over to the fence, tackled by She's the Law, and She's the Law goes on with Where's My Ring? The pace hot and heavy. Where's My Ring? She's the Law. And that leaves Ultimate Authority third and suddenly 4 or 5 off the lead with 5.5 furlongs to run. Then it's Gloglo. Gate to Paradise is down at the rail, racing 7 or 8 lengths off the lead. Criticism is just in front of that rival, and the trailer is Brunch with Amy. Down the back stretch, Where's My Ring? Pedal to the metal, 3-length advantage. She's the Law second. Ultimate Authority comes back for more. And now those two cut into the margin. It's down to a length and a half. A gap of 4 to Criticism, who's in fourth. Racing 8 lengths off the lead in a strung out field, coming to the 3/8 pole. Getting out of last, Brunch with Amy. The gray at the rail is Gate to Paradise with a dozen to make up. Then Speed, Shopper, and Glow Glow. A quarter of a mile to go. Where's My Ring? Trying to hang tough. Ultimate Authority pressing a half length back in second. 7 back to She's the Law in third. 3/16 of a mile to go. And Ultimate Authority and Where's My Ring are head and head coming to the 8th pole. Where's My Ring? Resilient. Ultimate Authority gradually getting the upper hand as they come toward the 16th. Where's My Ring? Simply will not give up. It's Ultimate Authority. Where's My Ring? Ultimate Authority gets the job done. Had to work for it. Second to Where's My Ring. Then it's a blanket photo between Criticism, Brunch with Amy, and Speed Shopper as Flavien Prat takes the late double.
Have you ever wanted to work for just 3 days and get paid $1 million? Well, guess what? If you play in our tournament today where you have to put up $1,500, and you can do that either on track here at St. Anita or nationwide at expressbet.com, 1 out of every 15 people that play will get a seat in the NHC, the National Handicapping Championship, next month at Horseshoe Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that is where you can win $1 million by beating all the other competitors. You can't buy your way into that tournament. So how great would that be? And by the way, today's tournament that you can play at St. Anita or expressbet.com, it's a live money tournament. So no matter where you finish in the standings, whatever you have at the end of the day is yours to keep. And the format is so simple: $50 to win and place on 10 races of your choice. The tournament races are all the races here at St. Anita and the last 5 races at Gulfstream Park. So a lot to choose from. Great day of wagering in the tournament world, and of course a great day of wagering here at the Great Race Place. Hi everybody, my name is Tom Quigley, VIP Player Concierge, also your seminar host for the next 35 minutes or so, and a gentleman who's no stranger to the tournament world. He's won a few high-end tournaments himself, is my seminar guest today. His name, Gary Young. Gary, happy Saturday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thank you, Quiggs. Good to be here.
Great to have you here. You're a private clocker. You're also a bloodstock agent extraordinaire. And I've got the list here of some of the runners you found: Arabian Night, Medina Spirit, Midnight Loot, Tabo, Bracco. The list is endless. But you got a new runner that you found as well. Just a Touch, who broke his maiden at Fairgrounds last weekend. Tell us about that latest acquisition that you found.
Fergus Galvin and I were asked to find some horses for Sheik Fad and his buddies. And
do you guys have a budget, or was it unlimited?
It wasn't an unlimited budget, but we fell on this horse. He wound up being there was 64 horses in the sale that went for more money than him.
What'd you pay for him?
$300.
Okay.
We looked at him, and this was right when the Justify tidal wave was starting. I mean, it hadn't really hit yet, and he was late in the sale, and Sheik Facha said to Fergus and I, what do you think this horse will cost? Because he had to leave. And we both agreed somewhere around 500.
And you guys know the market like the back of your hand.
Yeah, we thought it'd be about 500. And he said, well, go to 500. And if you want to go more, that's okay too. So he left, and Fergus and I are standing in the back, and we bid 300 on him, and no one bid back. And when the gavel fell, I half jokingly said to him, is this horse bowed and we didn't know it?
Right.
Is this
has
horse,
cancer or something?
We did tell Sheik Fad going in that if we bought the horse, he was kind of a horse that he was immature, but we really liked him. And we said, he should probably make his debut around December. Well, he made it on January 27th, and there was all kinds of articles written about him, and he opened up 1-9, and he broke a step slow, and my heart skipped a beat, but he was up in second very easily, and you could see that, he looked like the boss, and he was the boss, and he won by 4 lengths. I'm not saying that he's going to emulate what Justify did by getting such a late start and doing what he did, but if he does, that'd be pretty cool too.
Gary, we were blessed to see Justify run around this neck of the woods. As a bloodstock agent, can you kind of tell or project who might be a really good stallion? Did you think Justify could potentially be this good of a stallion when you saw him run on the racetrack?
Well, the first time he came over and worked at Santa Anita, he worked, and Bob Baffords, he stands up there and sits and watches nearby where I clock from, and the first time he worked, I said, who the hell is that? And he said,
he didn't tell you in advance.
Usually he does, but he was busy that day or whatever. And I go, who the hell is that? And he said, that's the Scat Daddy from that Marlowe's been telling me about it. Mike Marlowe is his Losell assistant, has been telling me, you better come get this horse because he's going to kill everything we got over here. And nothing he did surprised me in his career. I mean, he was unbelievably brilliant at 6 furlongs to a mile and a half, and his first part of his stud career was okay. It wasn't ba-boom, but right about the time we bought this colt last April, all of a sudden the Justifies just started, turf, dirt, Europe, America. It's been one hell of a run, and I don't see it stopping. I mean, obviously, he had the juvenile filly winner last year with, in the filly turf and the filly Amatz that paid for my Breeders' Cup tickets.
Just FYI.
Oh, she walked through the paddock. It's like, okay.
She did look like $1 million. I mean, how she paid that price was really unbelievable.
I mean, the post scared me a little. I mean, had I known she was going to beat the gate like she did and get over like she did, I probably would have doubled or tripled up, but they don't allow in-race wagering.
Speaking of workouts, Gary, today you needed a neck brace because everyone's trying to beat the storm. By the way, it's already been announced Santa Anita has canceled racing for tomorrow. No racing here on Sunday at the Great Race Place because of the impending storm. But it sounds like there were a ton of workers this morning. Maybe were there one or two that caught your eye that stood out from the crowd?
Well, White Abario was terrific. I mean, he's providing he ships okay and settles in, it's going to take a Herculean effort to beat that horse over in the Saudi Cup. He was very, very good.
Big City Lights was another one on the work tab as well from the Richard Mandela barn.
Big City Lights and Greer My Dear worked in company for Mandela. They finished very well head and head. You couldn't really tell which one was best, but they were both picking them up and laying them down the stretch. And I'm going to need about, we might get 5 days off because of the rain that's coming here.
You're going to need every minute of it to transcribe your notes, right?
Trying to figure out who was who and just transcribing my tape recorder. And, after 43 years of doing it, it's a little wonder that I might not be totally normal up here, but it's great. It's great to come out there. I just wish it wasn't as busy as it was today. You don't, when it's as busy as it was on these days, a lot of times you don't really get a good chance to look at, to watch a work as close as you'd like because you're timing 12 other horses at the same time.
That's where xbtv.com comes in. You can watch the workouts absolutely free of charge just by putting in a horse's name, and you don't have to wake up at 4 in the morning like Gary Young does each and every day. We're going to demand that Gary Young gives us at least a few winners on today's excellent 10-race card, including 4 stake races. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. Here are the early changes. Track is fast. The turf is rated as good with 0 feet on the turf course. No changes in the opener. In the second, we have a couple of blinker notes. Third race, No High 5. Scratch number 4, Chickasaw. Scratch number 6, Derecho Dandy. Race 3, scratch numbers 4 and 6. No High 5 wagering. In race number 3, there is a revised morning line. In the fourth, we do offer a special middle pick 4 today. Middle pick 4 wagering offered with race 4, the grade 3 megahertz. The fifth is the grade 3 Robert B. Lewis Stakes, scratch 5, Coach Prime, scratch 7, Stronghold. The pick 6 begins with our fifth. In the sixth race, no changes. The all-turf $3 wager, all-turf pick 3 starts with the sixth, as does the late pick 5. In the seventh, no high 5 wagering, scratch number 4, Tokamak. Eighth is the grade 3 Thunder Road, scratch 2, Prince Obama. In the ninth, the grade 2 Santa Monica Stakes, scratch number 4, Rose Maddox. The Golden Hour pick 4 starts with race number 9. And in the 10th, scratch 4, Quezon. There will be a rider to be announced for number 7, Truly Quality. Scratch number 13, Malibu Coast. Number 14 stays in the race and retains the services of Frankie Dettori. Scratch 4 and 13 out of today's 10th race. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. They'll be at the gate for the opener in 57 minutes, a little earlier than usual today at 12:15. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner and resume the seminar. His special guest today is Bloodstock Guru, Gary Young.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Gary Young to amplify what Frank Miramati just said. Not only is Gary Young a bloodstock guru, but he has found 3 Breeders' Cup winners and 1 Kentucky Derby winner at the sales. He's picked them out. He's obviously a very sharp evaluator of horse flesh, but he's also a great handicapper as well. And as you heard, he's a private clocker that is here each and every morning. He doesn't offer his opinion publicly, so it's an honor to have him on today's show. And Gary, we kick things off here on today's 10-race card in race number 1. And the good news is we are on the turf course. All the races are staying originally as scheduled. So we're coming down the hillside turf course in race number 1 for fillies and mares. They're Calbreds, non-winners of one other than. The rails today are at 0 feet. And of course, race 1 begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. We've got a field of 8. The morning line favorite in the current betting choice at 5-2 is from the Carla Gainsbard. Number 2, Queen of Pompeii, ridden by Umberto Rispoli. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Gary, I wanted to show a replay for a few of the runners in this field. Primarily, the one I want us to focus on is Satoshi, who's going to be in this race that we're about to watch from January 5th. It was the 7th race, and although you'll see in the racing form, she broke from post position number 2. She's actually wearing saddlecloth number 3. She had what I would call some subtle trouble, and you can see the winner of her race, Don't You Forget, is actually running in today's 6th race as well, one of the competitors in race number 6. So we'll be able to watch a few runners. We'll be able to watch Satoshi, Song of Shadows, I'll Have Another Kiss, and the race 6 contender, Don't You Forget. So let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action and watch the runner in saddlecloth number 3.
And they're off. Song of Shadows breaks out beautifully and goes straight to the front. Palio's Princess has speed. They're joined by Cocktail Princess inside of them now to grab second. Dulce Emma 4.5 off the leaders, followed by Satoshi, who's down at the rail. Then it's I'll Have Another Kiss in just a little tight between rivals. The 2 trailers, Don't You Forget, and Square Tomatoes. It's a compact group that heads past the half-mile pole. Cocktail Princess, narrow lead. Then it's Song of Shadows in between horses and Palio's Princess on the outside. 3 across the course. Satoshi just behind them in 4th, awaiting some racing room. I'll Have Another Kiss is next, now taking the 4th spot as the top 5 are separated by just 3 lengths. Don't You Forget looking for a way through as the field turns for home. Palio's Princess with a wide sweep to the lead, clears off to open up 2. I'll Have Another Kiss moves into second at the 8th pole. Don't You Forget is starting to finish nicely, and here's Don't You Forget on the outside as Satoshi comes through at the rail. Don't You Forget with good momentum, blowing right by them all. Don't You Forget, wrapped up, wins by
Gary, Satoshi and the Red Silks had a bit of a troubled trip there, as you can see, and Juan Hernandez elects to ride back. A number of runners in this race are coming out of that race, but you're looking in a different direction, a runner who hasn't run since Breeders' Cup weekend.
I was looking at Queen of Pompeii. I liked her last work very much in company with stablemate In Her Prime. It is a bit concerning that she's now a newly turned 6-year-old and she's got 1 win in 4 seconds. That's a little concerning, but I made her my top choice. I also looked at Ice Accord for my second choice. She doesn't sprint that often, but you know, she probably will try to get the same pocket trip that Satoshi had in that race. Whether, you know, when you ride the turf course like you're supposed to ride it, when the seam opens up and you burst through and you win, you're a hero. When you have horse and then nothing opens up, you're a goat. You're a goat. So it's that's kind of the way turf racing is. I I admit Satoshi didn't have the smoothest of trips. Would have liked to seen her kick on a little bit better when she did have a place to run, but it's a fairly contentious way to open up the card. It is.
2-1 in race number 1. Gary thinks the breeder Harris Farms might have a big say in race number 1, as his top 2 selections were both bred by the world-renowned Harris Farms. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This race is also on the turf course, but it's on the flat turf course, going 6.5 furlongs. It's a maiden special weight race for 3-year-olds. We've got a field of 7. Number 6 is a first-time gelding. Number 2 from the John Sadler barn, Island Cruiser, is the 9-5 morning line favorite. How'd you see race 2, Gary?
I was going to take a shot on the D'Amato horse. I like the last work on the 28th. He's gelded for the race, which better him than me. And he gets in. Phil,
I know some trainers that could use being gelded, right?
You know,
now, that's probably true of a lot of people around here.
it's true. It's
got to stay focused.
It's an asylum without the bars around it. The horse, I mean, D'Amato, Flavian, you know, they're a very good team. You know, I was going to take a chance to try to beat the 2 horse. The Island Cruiser, the first time he ran, I bet him he should have won. It was, you know, no one's fault, but he should have won the race. His race the other day, though he got a better number for it, there wasn't a whole lot of trouble in that race. He just got outrun. So I was maybe going to take a chance with Flavian's horse, you know.
6-2 in race number 2. A question for you, Gary, and I know that there's a little bit of a hidden meaning here, but your second selection, number 2, Island Cruiser, was sired by Catalina Cruiser, who Mr. Ronas and John Sadler actually campaigned as a racehorse. But you can see he stands for a $10,000 stallion fee, yet they went to $400,000 for him, 40 times the stud fee. That always seems to pick my head up a little bit. Do you place any stock or value in that multiple?
You know, yeah. I mean, obviously, more than one person liked him, and you know, John and David and Gordo went pretty deep for him. You know, he was a beautiful horse, Catalina Cruiser. I don't think he ever ran on the turf.
I don't either, but he did go short and long.
Yeah, he did, and. You know, the jury's still out on this horse. He trained really nicely for his first race. I bet on him, and you know, it's one of those where you kind of felt he should have won, but it wasn't anybody's fault. But you know, his left race left me. It didn't leave me empty, but he didn't have trouble like he did in the first race. He just got outrun. So we're going to see today. Race
number 3, we're on the main track, 1 mile the distance. By the way, the main track is fast, and the turf course currently listed as good. Expect that to possibly be upgraded later in today's card. But race number 3 is a split of race number 7, the exact same conditions, and those are $16,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. 2 scratches, scratch the 4 and 6, leaves us with a field of 5. And number 5, Montana, is now the revised 6-5 morning line favorite. We talked about some runners not having the winning spirit, including Queen of Pompeii. We'll take a look at Montana. 1 for 11 the last 2 years, 1 for 15 lifetime. What say you about race 3, Gary?
I was going to use that as an excuse to maybe take a shot against them. 50 Cinco's always trained like a horse with some ability. Obviously, they paid $200 for him. He's in for 16, so it hasn't worked out. But he won his maiden race the other day.
First time going long.
It was the first time going long, and unless the blinkers make the horse on the rail show speed, this horse could be on the engine today. It's not a race that's particularly loaded with speed or talent. This horse could definitely go wire to wire with me today. That was my look in there.
And I have to laugh at the horse's name. Your second selection in the race is number 7, Confucius. Do you have a nickname for anybody at the racetrack of Confucius?
I don't, but it could pertain to a lot of people. Let's face it.
What do you like about the Golden Gate Shipper? The trainer already has 1 win on the meet, and he surprised everybody with Mike Smith in the saddle on the turf course.
He did. I mean, this was a Baffert, horse that didn't quite make the cut, as they would say in Baffert's barn. So he was sold. The Golden Gate horses that have came down here have not done badly. He's a good price, and let's just face it, it's a race where not too many of these horses are going to need to check their Breeders' Cup eligibility.
Race number 4 on today's 10 race card means that we have a 50-cent middle pick 4. So a 50-cent middle pick 4 starting in race 4, and it's the first of 4 graded stakes races on the card. It's the grade 3 megahertz for fillies and mares traveling 1 mile on the turf. Of course, we've got a field of 7, and the Calbred, bred and owned by the Harris Farms Ranch, is number 7. Closing remarks on morning line odds of 5-2. She's a hard knocker, but she hasn't missed many dances. That's one concern I have. Do you have any concerns about closing remarks?
You know, she's turned 6 now. She's been a wonderful mare. Even though she's done very well on the Santa Anita turf course, I kind of think that lately her best races were at Del Mar. I mean, she was sharp as a tack down there this year. You know, I was going to take a shot against her with Bella Bell. Again, you got this guy Pratt. You know, he's got a future in this game, Flavian. It's a very long layoff. Her 2 workouts here have been very easy. You don't have to be quite as fit on turf as you do on dirt coming off of a layoff.
And coming over from crosstown Los Al.
Yes. And I mean, you know, that third to Gia Romantica, the way she's went on since the race is very, very impressive. So I was going to take a shot that Phil's got her ready to go off the layoff, and as you say, he goes and gets Flavian for her, so he must feel that she's okay. My friend Jonathan Thomas brings a filly out here that's been on the other side of the Rocky Mountains for her career.
She's 2 for 2 on turf.
She's 2 for 2 on turf. You know, the turf horses in the eastern part of the country are...
Go ahead and say it, because I say it many times.
They're better than ours.
No doubt about it.
I mean, we're here, you know, New York is there, and then Europe is there.
Correct.
That's just, you know...
It's just a fact.
Gosden and Frankel and Whittingham aren't here anymore. We have some very capable trainers. We have some very nice horses, but... when our turf horses go up against the Europe or the yes. Yeah.
So Moofy, obviously, for Jonathan Thomas, looks dangerous in this field. One concern I have, Gary, in race number 4 is show me who the early speed is going to be. Other than the runner who's coming off the layoff, Bella Bell, they all seem to be pace dependent, which means that typically the fractions are going to be 50 for the half and 115 for 3/4. Whoever gets to the lead is going to be dangerous.
And that could very well be Bella Bell, and 50, 115 would maybe make that very long layoff that Bella Bell is coming off of a little less significant.
I'm sorry, Gary. Race number 5 is the grade 3 Robert B. Lewis Stakes for 3-year-olds going 1 mile on the main track. Most of these horses are in the Kentucky Derby campaign trail. And also race 5 begins the $1 pick 6 on today's 10 race card. There are 2 scratches. Scratch number 5, Coach Prime, and number 7, Stronghold. That leaves us with a field of 7 in the morning line favorite. All eyes will be on Nisos from the Bob Baffert barn, who's been brilliant up to this point. 2 career races. He's won them by a combined 18 plus lengths. That's not typically something you see many horses do. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Gary, I wanted to pull up a replay. This actually is in company Nisos with Coach Prime, and we're watching Nisos on the outside here. And Nisos and Coach Prime, this workout was back on January 7th, so it's almost a month old. But actually, Coach Prime did pretty well here. Now, I understand that he scratched, and since this point in time, you've seen Nisos train, and in my opinion, he's really turned it up since this workout. But it was an interesting workout only because Nisos, to me, didn't show the brilliance that I was expecting, but now subsequent to this workout, in my opinion, he has. What's your thoughts?
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it was a good work for both horses here. You know, Nisos's 2 works after this were super. I mean, how far Nisos wants to run, I don't know if he wants 1.25 miles. I don't know that he doesn't either. You know, I think he'll definitely probably get the mile today. A lot of times when horses, and this doesn't pertain to him, a lot of times when horses don't want to run far, the first time they'll do it. And then after that, there might be their distance limitations might come flying out after that. But this horse has been brilliant in both of his races. Not going to need a Brinks truck to take the money out of here with what you're going to make on him. I really liked the way that John Sadler's horse won the first time out.
Of course you did. It's a son of Justify.
Right? I mean, he might make it, this horse. The couple of scratches moves him in from the 9 post to the 7 post. And, you know, he could be, you know, there's a couple of speed horses down inside that I don't think will be around too long. Scatify could be first over laying on Nisos. Whether that's going to get him by the horse or not, I don't know.
But the price will be much better.
Price will be much better. I mean, the price on Better Than Gold's going to be halfway decent too. I mean, I bet on him the first time he ran at 22-1, and he ran around there like Baby Huey, and so he comes back the next time, and I thought, nah, I better pass on this. And sure enough, he gets up and wins and pays $22, and that wasn't a good day. That wasn't a good race for me. But I mean, the horse is a very talented horse. And he's got a stride that this horse will run as far as they write races. Whether he's good enough or not, I don't know. But I think this horse is a nice horse that will continue to get better as the distance increases.
Both Nisos and Better Than Gold, who Gary has been talking about, are both sons of Nyquist, who certainly needs no introduction as a very valuable stallion. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. It also begins the $3 all-turf pick 3. The final 3 races every day on the St. Anita card comprise this $3 all-turf pick 3. And we kick things off, sprinting 6 furlongs on the flat turf course. This is for fillies and mares. It's an allowance optional climbing race. A good field of 10. Morning line favorite Rugalak, who's been on a bit of a tear for trainer Ron Ellis after being claimed from Graham Motion, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Talk to us about race 6, Gary.
You know, this she carries her head a little funny, but she definitely knows what to do when the gates open. You know, she's probably going to be pretty tough in this race. I put her and Just Nails in there. I bought Just Nails as a 2-year-old for my good friend George Hicker.
He'll be in attendance today.
Oh, won't he?
Holding court somewhere.
Yes. You know, she won a very good race down at Delmar, beating Kiss by Fire, who won 3 races in a row out of that. Came back in the next race, and she got a little worked up in the paddock, and you know, she just didn't. You know, she probably bounced. You know, she's coming off a long layoff in a tough race, so she probably bounced. But you know, I was going to go with these 2 horses. You know, it's an open race. You got some multiple winners in there, which it makes it tough on the horses that have only won 1 race. Rugalak being the shortest price of the group, but you know, it's a good race. You know, it'll be interesting to see what the turf's like today. You noted before we started the handicapping part of this that they listed it as good today. We had some significant rain. We obviously have some more coming our way, but it's not going to hit during the race card today. But it was a bit intriguing to me that they listed the turf course good today and not firm.
As previously mentioned, race number 7 is a split of race number 3, and also race 7 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're going 1 mile on the main track for $16,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. Field of 6 after the scratch of number 4 and number 7, Arrest, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. Led to deep stretch last time out. There were 3 across the track on the finish line. Talk to us about race 7, Gary.
Yeah, there was 3 across the wire that day. You know, he was down inside, you know, doing the hard work down inside in that race. You know, I came down to Thrust and Arrest. They'll probably be the 1-2 favorites in the race. You know, they'll probably be 1-2 early on in the race too, so they might run 1-2 around the racetrack. That's about all I could really say about this race.
Fair enough. Let's turn the page. Take a look at race number 8. It's the Grade 3 Thunder Road Stakes. We're back on the turf course. 1 mile's the distance. Scratch the 2 leaves us with a field of 7. Phil D'Amato now trains 2 in here, including the morning line favorite number 5, Tio Magico, who's 5-2 on the morning line. Some other clockers that are your contemporaries like the way Tio Magico is working. My concern, Gary, is that he's 0 for 5 on at this distance of a flat mile on the turf course. Having said all that, who do you like and why?
I really like the way Tio Magico worked also. You know, I don't, you know, if he goes 2-1 or 8-5, I might not do there. I mean, Goliad is a very headstrong horse that he's probably going to make the lead today. I mean, at times Great King has shown some pretty good speed, but he's probably going to make the lead today. Tio Magico could very well be laying second to him, but I was going to go with Tio Magico. Now, if Great King or Goliad won the race, was I going to fall off my chair? No, but Tio Magico's works have been really good, and when you got D'Amato training and Pratt riding, you got you're going to probably take the worst of it as far as mutual value goes, but he has worked well.
Another barn that's doing well right now, Gary, is the Jeff Mullins barn. And number 4, Dandy Man Shines, has 2 career wins. Both of them happened after he was gelded, and Umberto Rispoli certainly fits him like a glove. Have you seen him work since his last effort on opening day, and what do you think of his chances?
He's always been a very willing workhorse. I think that might have had something to do with, he could be a bit headstrong, and sometimes gelding those headstrong horses probably can help. I mean, probably could work on headstrong humans sometimes too.
I'm sure it can.
But no, he's a very solid horse since the equipment change, and Rispoli and Jeff, they win their fair share on the turf around here also.
And another layoff runner, Gary, in this horse is number 7, Time to Party. It looks like he might be outclassed a little bit, although he did improve when they took the blinkers off a few races after they claimed him. Have you seen him work in the morning, and what do you think of him today?
I was very ambivalent about him. The last work was a little bit, was not only better time-wise, but he seemed to be more into it. I would probably take a stand against him today, but I've been wrong before.
Race number 9 is our 4th and final stakes race on the card. It's the Grade 2 Santa Monica Stakes for fillies and mares traveling 7 furlongs in the main track. It also begins the $1 golden hour pick 4 wagering, linking our last 2 races here with the last 2 races at Golden Gate. Scratch the 4, Rose Maddox leaves us with a field of 5. Number 3, Three Witches, who was bought privately at auction for $1.7 million after performing in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, is the 9-5 morning line favorite. She's a deep closer. There's not a lot of speed in this race. Hot Pepper seems to be the controlling pace. Talk to us about race 9, Gary.
That's the thing that just flies off the paper. I mean, from that post, who's going to run with Hot Peppers? I mean,
I don't see it.
No. I mean,
and Sweet Azteca came back to win very impressively yesterday, who she beat last time out in the Las Flores.
True. I mean, the 2 horses that she's got to beat, Kirstenboss she's a dead closer. I mean, she's a hell of a mare, but when she won her Grade 1 here, when she won the Chillingsworth, the Grade 3, I'm sorry, she got 21-3, 43-3 up in front of her. She's not going to get that today. I thought Hot Peppers was the horse to beat. I did.
Gary, I mentioned the auction price or the purchase price of Three Witches for $1.7 million. I'm not in the market like you are. Were you surprised by that price, or is that basically what you believe she's worth? She's lightly raced.
She's lightly raced.
Daughter of Into Mischief.
Yes, and running third in the Breeders' Cup, getting a Grade 1 black type. I'm not. I don't really know her bottom side off the top of my head as far as how well bred she is, but I just got to say one thing about Into Mischief. I mean,
trained by Richard Mandela back in the day.
I mean, the breeding side of the business is the most imperfect science part of the business there is.
More than handicapping.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I saw Into Mischief train every day of his life. Uh-huh. He was a good, pretty horse. He was a good horse. When he went off the stud, if you would have told me that he would, take the crown from Tappet and do just as well as Tappet and Curlin and be the dominant sire for years upon years. I mean, his 3rd straight year of leading sire last year. If you'd have told me that was going to happen, I'd have probably asked you to take a drug test. I would have. But this horse is, he's an unbelievable stallion. He stamps his horses. They all have white on them somewhere, most of them. A lot of them have the gray in the tail like Into Mischief had. And he's just unbelievable. And as he gets further along, he's showing no signs of stopping, and as well deserved. He's getting the best. He's getting some of the best mares in the country now, but he deserves it. I mean, I will be the first one to admit I would not have predicted that when he went off the stud, but I will also admit that he's an unbelievable stallion.
Handicapping and pedigree, certainly two inexact sciences, that's for sure. That's what makes the game so great. We close out the day and we close out the week in race number 10, which offers $5 goal an hour daily double wagering. We're traveling 1 mile on the turf course. It's an allowance optional claiming race for non-winners of one other than two scratches. Scratch the 4 and 13. That means one of the also eligibles, number 14, Fantastic, does draw into the race and will compete. Number 10 is a first-time gelding. Here's a jockey upgrade. It was to be announced for number 7, Truly Quality. It is now Mike Smith. Mike Smith battle for Truly Quality. Frankie DeToyer will ride number 14. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Gary, I wanted to watch a replay for number 6, City Exile. She was a comeback runner from the Phil D'Amato barn last time out. When you watch this replay, she's going to break from post position. I should say he's going to break from post position number 3 and be dead last almost until the far turn. He's going to walk out of the gate, and then he finishes full of run, and he wins by disqualification, perhaps rightfully so. Others would disagree, but nevertheless, let's watch the replay for City Exile and watch his late kick in his comeback race on January 7th and listen to Frank Miramati describe the action.
And they're off. Quick start for Petkoff in the center, who sprints out for the early lead. Uncle Reg has speed. Devilish Desire is in between them, and Ashcroft makes a 4-wide bid after them. Captain Chuchi's just behind that group with Kentaro Doro in mid-pack. Sea of Cortez guided over to the rail, 2 lengths in front of Player B in the green colors. They're followed by Excel Calculator, and the early trailer is City Exile. Rounding the first turn, and it is Petkoff with a narrow advantage. About a neck in front of Uncle Reg in second. Ashcroft tugging his way forward, 3 of them right across the course. Then Captain Chuchi's and Devilish Desire racing next to one another. A length and a half back comes Sea of Cortez and Kentaro Doro. Then Excel Calculator, Player B, and City Exile continues at the back. Into the far turn, Petkoff, Uncle Reg, ahead back second. Ashcroft coming under some pressure while trying to keep pace, 3 wide in third. Captain Chuchi's and Devilish Desire are right together. Another length and a half behind them, Sea of Cortez. Passed on the outside by Kentaro Doro, who also has to go wide into the stretch. Angling out is Player B in the green as they pass the quarter pole and turn for home, and Petkoff tries to shake loose. Captain Chuchi's has had a good trip, gets out now trying to run him down within a length and a half of the leader, and Player B coming alive on the far outside. City Exile from last, and Devilish Desire. It's a driving finish. Captain Chuchi's takes the lead close to the wire. It's going to be photo finish in between horses.
Wow.
Gary, City Exile in a desperate finish actually got put up via the DQ, but now he's worked 2 times since then. Have you seen him work since then, and what do you think?
The January 28th work was unbelievable. I mean, it was terrific. A lot is made of the Euro bounce.
Sure.
Sometimes
I've heard of that.
The first time after coming over here and running the United States, it might apply here, but this horse only got a chance to run about 100 yards in this race, and it's not like it
was a taxing effort.
No. I mean, in the workout doesn't indicate a bounce is coming, but it happens sometimes. I won't deny that.
5-1 on Gary's top pick in race number 10, number 6, City Exile. We're tight on time, Gary. We ran overtime, actually, but all of us could sit here and listen to you ramble about the horses. You're a true treasure to have on the seminar. Thanks so much for being my guest today, and nothing but good luck and success going forward.
Thank you, Quick.
Before we go, quick reminder, Coast to Coast Pick 5 today, low 15% takeout, $1 minimum. Starts with Gulfstream Park, race number 10. All 5 of those races today in the Coast to Coast Pick 5 are stakes races. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Next voice you'll be here, track announcer Frank Miramati, updating us with any late changes. Have fun and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the flagpole in the infield as well as the winner's circle, as we're pleased to have Rick Tyree, Bill Frazier, and Bob Allen For our national anthem, please rise. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. Here are the changes. Track is fast, turf rated as good. Rail on the turf at 0 feet, no changes in the opener. Anchor notes in race 2. In the third, there's no super high 5 wagering. Scratch 4 Chickasaw and 6 Derecho Dandy. There is a revised morning line posted for race 3. The fourth begins the middle pick 4. Middle pick 4 today on races 4, 5, 6, and 7. The grade 3 megahertz. No changes. Pick 6 starts with race 5, the Robert B. Lewis. Scratch 5 Coach Prime. Scratch 7 Stronghold. 5 and 7 out of the 5th. In the 6th, we begin the all-turf pick 3, $3 wager, and the late pick 5, 50-cent wager. There are no changes. The 7th, scratch 4 Tokamak. There's no high 5 wagering offer. 8th is the grade 3 Thunder Road. Scratch 2 Prince Obama. 9th, the grade 2 Santa Monica. Starts the golden hour pick 4. Scratch 4 Rose Maddox. The 10th, scratch 4 Quezon. Scratch 13 Malibu Coast. Note that number 7 True Quality, the jockey Mike Smith. Mike Smith rides the 7, scratch 4 and 13. The 14 runs. Enjoy your day here at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the opener is in 24 minutes, a little earlier than usual today. We kick it off at 12:15.
15 minutes to post for the opener on behalf of everyone here at First Racing, and we'd like to welcome you to horse racing's first racing tour here for a Saturday at beautiful Santa Anita Park. Hi, everybody. Peter Lurie alongside my partner, Miss Millie Ball. We'll be joined by, of course, Michelle Yu a little later on in the program. We've got a beautiful day, cool temperatures. We're on the dirt and the turf. Turf list is good.
That's right. And we've got 4 graded stakes races here at Santa Anita, part of that horse racing first racing tour. It involves races from Gulfstream Park, races like the Holy Bull, and here at Santa Anita, the Bob Lewis, of course, horses like Ferdinand, and I'll have another Kentucky Derby winners have gone through these series of prep races, and that first racing tour will continue all the way to the Santa Anita Derby and Florida Derby not long from now.
So basically on this day, it starts getting real serious for the 3-year-old pitcher.
Exactly.
All right. Good stuff coming up. As always, we'll be joined down in the paddock by Zoe Cadman. Out at the gate, Jessica Pfeiffer. As we mentioned, Michelle Yu will be joining us a little later on in the broadcast. We've got some good stuff to kick things off. As we mentioned, it is fast and a good turf